Colonel Blake. If you're out there, please respond. The voice on the radio was desperate, panicked. A young soldier, Sergeant David Chen, 28 years old, and right now, he was surrounded by Taliban forces in the most dangerous region of Afghanistan. We're out of ammo. We have wounded. No air support. Colonel, did they abandon us? The radio went silent. Only static. Colonel John Blake, 58 years old, a retired Special Forces commander, sat in the basement of his Virginia home, holding an old military radio receiver. He still monitored that frequency, his old team's emergency channel. And now, cries for help were coming through that channel. John picked up his phone, called the Pentagon. "This is Colonel John Blake. We have 8 soldiers surrounded in Afghanistan. Why is there no rescue operation?" The voice on the other end was cold. "Colonel Blake, that area is now under Taliban control. We cannot conduct official operations. Diplomatic channels are engaged. How long will that take?" 2 to 3 weeks, maybe longer." John hung up and made his decision. "I'm going." Before we dive into this powerful story of loyalty, courage, and never leaving a brother behind, let us know in the comments which state you're watching from today. And if you believe stories like these deserve to be remembered, hit that subscribe button and help us remember that we never abandon a brother. It was 48 hours earlier. John Blake was at his Virginia home, living a normal Saturday morning, drinking coffee, reading the newspaper. In his basement were old military equipment, uniforms, medals, weapons, legally registered, maps, and a radio receiver, tuned to the secret frequency his old team used. John checked that frequency every day. Most of the time it was silent, but sometimes old teammates would talk to each other. "How are you?" "Good, you?" Simple things. But that morning, he heard a different voice. "Mayday, Mayday. This is Kilo Team, surrounded in Helmand Province, requesting air support, urgent." John put down his coffee, grabbed the radio. "Kilo Team, this is Sabre 6. Who is this? What's your status?" A moment of silence. Then, "Sabre 6? Is this Colonel Blake?" "My God, sir, this is Sergeant Chen. Our team is 8 people. We were on a covert mission, but we were ambushed. Taliban surrounded us. We're running out of ammo. We have wounded." John's heart raced. "Chen, what are your coordinates?" 34.5 degrees north, 64.8 degrees east. Helmand, Musa Kala region. "Copy. Did you request air support?" "Yes, sir, but command said the area is too dangerous. They canceled the operation." John froze. "Canceled?" "Yes, sir. I think they abandoned us." John immediately picked up his phone, called the Pentagon Special Operations Department. He still knew the number, had old connections. "Pentagon, Special Operations Coordinator General Richard Hale speaking." "General Hale, this is Colonel John Blake. I'm retired, but we have 8 soldiers surrounded in Helmand. Why is there no rescue?" General Hale took a deep breath. "John, that area is now under Taliban control. The Afghanistan withdrawal is complete. We cannot conduct official operations." "What do you mean we can't? They're American soldiers." "John, I understand. But the White House hasn't approved returning to Afghanistan. We're using diplomatic channels." "Diplomatic channels? You're going to negotiate with the Taliban?" "There's no other option." "How long will it take?" 2 to 3 weeks, maybe a month," John shouted in anger. "A month? Those soldiers can't last a month." "John, we're doing what we can, but officially, we can't go." John hung up and looked out the window. Virginia's quiet streets, safe, peaceful, but 7,000 miles away, 8 soldiers were dying because the government had abandoned them. John made his decision. "Even if it's not official, I'm going." John opened his phone. In his contacts were the names of old teammates, all retired, but all warriors. First call, Sergeant Major Mike Torres, 55 years old, retired, ran a private security firm in Texas. "Mike, it's John." "John Blake? Damn, how many years has it been?" 10 years. "Mike, I'm going to ask you a question, and you can say no." "I'm listening." 8 soldiers surrounded in Helmand. Pentagon abandoned them. I'm going to rescue them. Will you come with me?" A long silence. Then, "When are we leaving?" Second call. Master Sergeant Luis Ramirez, 52 years old, retired, ran a fishing boat business in Florida. "Luis, John Blake." "Colonel, how are you?" "Not good. Team surrounded in Helmand. Pentagon abandoned them. I'm doing a rescue operation. Will you come? Colonel, I'm 52 years old. I'm not in that business anymore. I know, but those soldiers are like us. I can't abandon them. Luis took a deep breath. Okay, I'm coming. Third call. Technical Sergeant James Doc Williams, 49 years old, retired paramedic, worked at a hospital in Colorado. Doc John. Colonel Blake, this is a surprise. Doc, emergency situation. 8 soldiers in Helmand, wounded, surrounded. Pentagon can't go. I'm going. Need medical support. Will you come? Colonel, I work at a hospital. I have a family. Doc, those soldiers are dying. They need your medical skills. Silence. Then, I'll be ready in 24 hours. John assembled 3 people, including himself, 4 people. Not enough, but enough to start. The next day, the 4 men gathered in John's basement. On the table, Afghanistan map, satellite images, weapon lists. John pointed at the map. Target, Helmand Province, Musa Kala. 8 soldiers, here. Coordinates, 34.5 degrees north, 64.8 degrees east. Mike asked, how do we get there? Commercial flight? No, private plane to Pakistan. Then we'll cross the Afghanistan border illegally. Luis frowned. The border is Taliban-controlled. How do we cross? I have old connections. Pakistan intelligence. They'll help us. Doc asked. Ammunition? Weapons? We'll acquire them in Pakistan. Black market. Expensive, but possible. Mike looked serious. John, this isn't official. If we're caught, the government will disavow us. I know. And we'll probably die. I know. So why are we going? John slammed the table. Because those soldiers are like us. They went there for duty, and the government abandoned them. I never leave a brother behind. Do you? The 3 men looked at each other, then nodded. We're going. As John looked at the map, the world trembled. The basement disappeared, his friends disappeared, and John returned to 2010. Helmand Province, Afghanistan, 2010. Young Colonel John Blake, 43 years old in military uniform, stood at the base camp in Helmand. Beside him was his team, Mike, Luis, Doc, and 8 other soldiers. Their mission, capture a Taliban leader. But the mission went wrong. They were ambushed, surrounded. John shouted into the radio, requesting air support, urgent. Command, Sabre 6, air support en route, 20 minutes. But 20 minutes was too long. Ammo was running out. There were wounded. John made his decision. We're pulling back, now. The team withdrew. But 1 soldier was wounded and left behind. Sergeant Tim Harris shot in the leg. John went back. Under fire, he carried Tim on his back. Taliban bullets hit around him, but John didn't stop. He carried Tim to the safe zone. He survived. And that day, John made a promise. I will never leave a brother behind. Now, 2025. John opened his eyes. He was back, in the basement. Mike looked at him. What are you thinking about? 2010, Tim Harris. He's retired now, has a family. I know, and now there are 8 other Tim Harrises. We have to save them. 2 days later, John and his team boarded a private plane from Virginia. The plane was heading to Pakistan, 14-hour flight. The plane wasn't luxurious. It was a cargo plane. But the owner was an old friend of John's. He didn't ask questions. The plane took off. John looked out the window at America one last time. Maybe he wouldn't come back. Mike sat beside him. John, I've worked with you for 25 years, but this is different. This isn't official. We're mercenaries now. No, John said. We're soldiers, and soldiers don't abandon their brothers. 14 hours later, they arrived in Islamabad, Pakistan. At the airport, a man was waiting for them, civilian clothes, but military posture. Colonel Blake? Yes. I'm Captain Farhan Malik, Pakistan Intelligence. I was asked to work with you. Can we cross the border? Yes, but it's dangerous. Taliban controls the border. We go at night. Ammunition. Ready, from the black market. AK-47s, RPGs, grenades. It was expensive. John pulled cash from his bag. $50,000. Is this enough? Farhan laughed. Yes, enough. That night, John and his team approached the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. 2 military jeeps. Farhan was the guide. The border was dark. No lights, only moonlight. Farhan stopped. We walk from here, 5 kilometers. Taliban patrol present. We must be silent. John looked at his team. Everyone checked their weapons. AK-47s, suppressed, grenades on belts, night vision goggles, mounted. Ready? John asked. Everyone nodded, and they began walking in the darkness. 2 hours later, they spotted a Taliban patrol. 4 men, with AK-47s. Checking the road, John signaled. They approached silently. Mike silently neutralized the first Taliban soldier, Luis the second, Doc the third, John the fourth. No sound. Farhan was amazed. You are professionals? Yes, John said. We have to be. They crossed the border. They were now in Afghanistan. Afghanistan was desert, sand, hills, rocks. Night -10 degrees Celsius, day +40 degrees Celsius. John and his team walked toward Helmand. It was 50 kilometers away. They couldn't use vehicles. Taliban would see them. They had to walk. They walked for 24 hours. Thirst, exhaustion. But they didn't stop. Doc complained about his age. I'm 49. I'm not the age to do this. Luis laughed. I'm 52. Still strong, Mike added. I'm 55. You're all kids. John smiled. I'm 58, and I'm the leader. Walk. 36 hours later, they reached Musa Qala, a small town. Taliban controlled it, armed men on every corner. John studied the town from a hill with binoculars. There, he said, 8 soldiers inside that building. Taliban surrounded the building, 30 men. Mike whistled. 30 against 4, bad odds. We've seen worse, John said. The plan, night attack, silent entry. We rescue the soldiers, silent exit. Luis asked, what if a fight breaks out? Then all Taliban will come to kill us, so we must be silent. Night, 2 a.m. John and his team silently approached the building. Taliban guards were dozing. John silently neutralized the first guard, Mike, the second, Luis, the third. They entered. The building was dark. They climbed the stairs. On the second floor, there was a door. Locked. John broke the door. Inside, 8 soldiers. Sergeant Chen was shocked. Colonel Blake! Quiet, John whispered. We came to rescue you. Get ready. We're leaving now. The 8 soldiers gathered. 2 were wounded. Doc quickly treated them. Can you walk? Doc asked. Yes, sir. Then let's go. But just as they were leaving, Taliban raised the alarm. Someone noticed the guard was missing. Attack! Attack! They shouted. John yelled, Run! They exited the building, but Taliban opened fire. AK-47 sounds, RPGs. John and his team returned fire. Mike fired an RPG. A Taliban vehicle exploded. Luis neutralized 3 Taliban soldiers. Sergeant Chen fought despite being wounded, but Taliban numbered 30. John's team was 12. They were outnumbered. We're pulling back, John shouted. They fled the town, but Taliban pursued with vehicles. John and his team climbed a hill, took defensive positions. We hold here, John said. Protect the wounded, conserve ammo. Taliban attacked, but John's team were good marksmen. Every bullet, a target. Mike hit a Taliban vehicle with an RPG. It exploded. Luis did sniper work. 5 Taliban soldiers neutralized. Doc treated the wounded, stopped the bleeding, but ammo was running out. John grabbed the radio. This is Sabre 6 requesting air support, urgent. No response. He tried again. This is Sabre 6, respond. Then, a voice. Sabre 6, this is Reaper 2. We have your coordinates. Air support en route, 5 minutes. John was shocked. Who sent you? General Hale, Pentagon. He said he won't abandon you. 5 minutes later, F-16 fighter jets arrived. They bombed Taliban positions. Taliban retreated. John and his team were saved. Helicopters picked up John and his team, transported them to the Pakistan border. The 8 soldiers were rescued, all alive. Sergeant Chen hugged John. Thank you, Colonel. You didn't abandon us. Never, John said. I never abandon a brother. A week later, John was summoned to the Pentagon. General Hale sat across from him. John, you conducted an unofficial operation. You illegally entered Afghanistan. You rescued 8 soldiers. Technically, it's illegal. I know, sir. But, the general smiled, you saved 8 American soldiers. The government can't arrest you, because the public sees you as a hero. John was surprised. What do you mean? I mean, thank you. And I'm sorry. I tried to stop you. But you did the right thing. 6 months later, John and his team gathered in Virginia. Sergeant Chen and the 8 soldiers were there too. Chen gave John a medal. "This is our thanks. You saved us." John accepted the medal. "No, we saved each other because we're soldiers, and soldiers never abandon their brothers." Everyone gave a standing ovation. If John Blake's story moved you, subscribe to Veterans Tales, like this video, share in the comments what you would do for your brothers. Never abandon a brother. Do you have a similar experience? Share in the comments. See you in the next story.